Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here with Amanda. We are in the front office of the garage, and we are going to talk health and fitness and her journey. She has a cool story where she came to do CrossFit and then came back after a few years later. So here, we are trying to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. I'd say we're heavy on the fitness, and then we get into food, especially I would love if you guys would grow your own food somehow. I'm currently growing chickens to make eggs, and we do talk finances because if you have all this health and fitness so you can live into your 90s, you better have some money to go with it. Okay, so Amanda, how did you end up here in Woodstock? Did you grow up here?
Yeah, I grew up here. So my family's from New York, and we moved down when I was like 7.
Oh, okay, so early.
Yeah.
Were you in like the New York, like Manhattan type New York? Or?
Well, yeah, we lived in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So my formative years were spent there, so I still feel like I'm a New Yorker at heart.
Oh yeah? Do you drink sweet tea yet?
I don't like sweet tea at all.
Okay, do you say y'all?
I do now.
Okay,
yeah.
so you're being converted. So once you say y'all and you drink sweet tea, then you've come to the dark side.
But I don't think I'll ever drink sweet tea. It's not for me.
Not for you?
No.
So my kids do an Arnold Palmer, which is lemonade and then tea, but they always get sweet tea. I'm like, so you're like really doubling up on the sugar there,
they
buddy.
have the diet one at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
So I have banned myself from going to Chick-fil-A. So yeah, that was my... So apparently God made Chick-fil-A. So yeah, everyone should go there and it's totally health and fun and all things good, right? So in my in my rebellious days, I tried to not eat sugar for a year. And I think I made it a year and a half. And then when I got off the sugar wagon, I would go to Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru and I'd say a large chocolate milkshake and a half dozen cookies warmed up. And they're like, oh, okay, for you and your kids. I'm like, yes, right. Kids. The kids are in the car and there's nobody but me. And so I would eat 2 of them and then give the other 4 to the kids when I got home. But I was going through Chick-fil-A like it was, I don't know, it was going out of style. I would go there all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So you go there a lot or?
No, I have
not as much as I was then.
Yeah, I have my moments where I'm like obsessed with Chick-fil-A and then I don't have it for a while.
Yeah. So I got a buddy, Paul Jobert. He is the owner, operator, manager, whatever they call him, down at the Chick-fil-A next to the Target near the Outback on 92. It's kind of down that Roswell way. And man, the stories he has about just the business, the customers, and oh man, I mean, that would be a hectic business, but man, do they do a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So God did make Chick-fil-A. So if you guys are eating there, I always tell people try not to eat at places that have drive-through. Unfortunately, that does include their yummy chicken, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Yeah, I do. I love their breakfast.
Yeah. So what's your favorite type of meal? Is it lunch, breakfast, dinner? Which
breakfast.
All the time, no matter where?
Yeah.
Let me go shut that door. They're going to get us with music. Yeah, so Cracker Barrel, man, that's a mainstay right there, right?
Yeah, Cracker Barrel.
Can you shut that? Thank you. Yep. Do you go to Cracker Barrel?
Not very often, but I do love it.
Yeah.
Every time I go.
So we used to plan our trips with our kids. We like say we're going to New York. Of course, I don't know if Cracker Barrel makes it to New York, but we would plan the stops based on where the Cracker Barrels were because they had that store. And they used to have candles out, right? You could smell all these candles. So we would literally just go in and the kids would start smelling candles. I'm like, it's the weirdest thing. You'd watch my entire family, 4 children, just all sniffing candles and passing them around. I'm like, what do people think of us? It doesn't matter. We'll never be here again. We'll never see us. But breakfast, that is, I could do breakfast. If you added steak into the breakfast. What's your favorite breakfast go-to food?
Go-to? Just like a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Sandwich is really good.
The biscuit? Have you done the Bojangles?
Yes.
Their biscuits, they have something like addictive in them. So I had to stop going there early. Like in college, we would go all the time. I'm like, no. They have something in that stuff.
Yeah, Bojangles that's a rarity for me.
Oh, yeah?
It's too much salt in there, but...
Maybe that's it. It's just like that, right?
Yeah.
The salt and the grease or something? Okay, so anyway, so you guys moved down here from New York.
Yeah.
Did you go to like Etowah High School or Sequoia then?
I went to Woodstock High School.
Oh, okay, right up here, Woodstock High School. Yeah, that's awesome. Did you play sports in high school?
I did. I played basketball, but I wasn't very good, so I didn't actually play much, but I was on the team.
So they always need people to fill the bench.
Right.
And that was my kids in basketball as well. They're like, they are good athletically, but not good at that specific sport. And I don't really know why. I'm like, they play soccer well. Why can't they play basketball? But I guess foot in hand and foot-eye and hand-eye coordination is very different.
It is, yeah.
What position, when you got on the court, what did you typically play?
Point guard.
Oh, okay, so yeah, that's a tough one. If you're not super stellar, yeah. So not only am I short, but I don't dribble that well. So the only thing I could really do was steal the ball and then pass. So I'm like, all right, I'm just a playmaker. That's all I was.
Sure.
But yeah, my career in basketball was pretty short-lived as well. Pun intended, because height is a thing, and I never made it that tall. Did you play anything in college? Did you continue that on, or do any intramurals?
I just played intramurals.
Yeah.
Was in college.
Any particular one that you like?
Just basketball again. I was much better at that, so competition was not as steep.
No.
Yeah.
So I realized when I went to Georgia Tech, and they had all types of intramurals, but it's a bunch of nerds. So I'm like, hey, this is good. I'm already better than most. And then they would have an A league. That's like, you're serious. B league is, hey, I'm kind of serious, but I'm a pledge or I'm a freshman or whatever, so I'm not on the. And then there's C league, and that's basically you play with a beer in your hand. I'm like, what? This is awesome. I really like this C league. So that was probably my downfall in sports, is to realize people would play with beer. I'm like, I don't know, this is probably illegal in many ways, but let's do it. Where did you go to college?
Kennesaw State.
Okay, yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Did they have the football team then? I know.
Yeah, it started when I was going to college there.
Okay.
I think maybe my sophomore or junior year.
Yeah. And is it pretty big, or?
I think it is now, yeah.
It's, I think Kennesaw is like the either second or third largest school in Georgia or something like that. So way back in the 80s and 90s, when I was applying to go to school, it was like, KS what? There's a KS what? But of course, Southern Polytech was a different school as well.
Right, yeah.
And now, I mean, everybody knows KSU. It's, I think I remember, I think it's actually might be the #1 school in Georgia in terms of volume.
I think so, because they have a lot of people that commute, and then a lot of people that just do like night classes and stuff.
Yeah. My brother's kid just graduated from the nursing school, which is apparently super top notch. Yeah, so now she's got that lifestyle where she works like 12 hours a day for 3 days straight. Like, no, thank you. So, what did you graduate with, and what are you doing now?
I graduated with my bachelor's in accounting.
Okay, cool.
And I'm an accountant now.
Yeah.
So, I was in taxes for like 4 years.
Yeah.
It was miserable, and so now I just do like basic like financial reporting, accounting for like startup tech companies and stuff. So
very cool. Are you on your own, or you work for a company?
I work for a company.
Okay. And so if this is a good pitch for all. So we have a lot of small. I wouldn't say necessarily startup, but weirdly, there's I would go with maybe 30% of our membership are some sort of entrepreneur, which is weirdly high considering like it's just a gym, right?
Yeah.
So if you're, what type of customer? So it sounds like an entrepreneur or a small business is the fit.
Yeah.
Do you guys specialize in any particular type of business per se, or is it just small size?
Small size, but I guess like up to maybe like the funding would be like 50 to 100K is usually the range that we service. So, but we can do. I mean, there's like I think somebody just got a client that is only like 10K in funding or so. So, it's just a range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be a piece of advice that you're like, oh, everyone should be doing this and nobody does it? This is so commonplace. I don't know why people don't do that. What do you see that's so like the easy thing?
I don't know. Accounting is so weird. It's just like, it's just numbers. Like I follow the numbers. I don't really know where people come up with the money, and that's the piece I'm trying to figure out, because it's just a lot, and I'm like, where does this even come from? Yeah. But a lot of people pool their money with other people before they invest. So and it does take a couple years to get returns usually, but I think it's worth it. Yeah. If it's a good, investment.
Sure. So like if they buy into a business together or franchise together or something. Yeah. So I'll tell you a lesson that I have learned that you probably already know this, but it took me, I tell people all the time, if you want to shortcut the process, hire a mentor or a coach. And having somebody else do your books or keep account is a great mentor, because you will always cheat yourself somehow. You will make the numbers say what you want them to say. Yeah. You're like, oh, no, that's totally revenue. Or that's an expense for sure. And it totally is not. It's not, what do they call it? Reasonable and something. I forgot what they call it. There's a rule for it. Is it reasonable and something for the expense? But I had a business where me and my partner hired one of our employees to do the books. And I don't think the person was doing it incorrectly on purpose, but so I hired someone that didn't have experience. I hired someone that was in our business that was, they wanted to make sure it looked good. And so unintentionally or intentionally, I don't really know, but we ended up cooking our own books accidentally.
Oh, nice.
For months. And I'm like, I don't understand why we're losing money, but the books all say we're making money. They're like, oh, this number right here is not revenue, it's an expense. And you're like, what? Right? And so I would tell anybody who's got your own business, if you're doing your own books, find somebody else. Or a big problem that we were just talking about there in the gym, people will put their, like I have the McCann family bank account and the CrossFit Garage bank account is the same bank account. And they don't separate it. And they run like, oh, I pay my mortgage and the building's rent out of the same. You're like, that's not a business. That's like jail time. You're going to be, something bad's coming up on you. So you've been doing that for a while, and it's a local business here, or do you just get to work from home? Or?
No, so my company's based in Utah. So I do work from home, but I can't commute because it's a little bit too far.
It's a little bit too far. Did they ever make you come in? Like, hey, we're doing a corporate meeting?
I was able to come in last Christmas for like the Christmas party and see the office. And then I took some time off to go snowboarding up there.
Ooh, yeah. So how long have you been snowboarding?
That was my first time.
Okay. And pretty good, or did you fall a lot?
I fell a lot, but the last day I was really getting the hang of it, making the S turns. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. So.
I'm tangential, so you just got into a cool story for me, or a fun story. So because of this fitness that we got here, doing CrossFit, I went on an adventure race, and I had my foot stuck in a pedal because I was clipped in, but I had dirt in there. And when I went to clip out, I wrenched my knee so hard, I actually tore the meniscus in my knee. So I was fit enough to rip my own meniscus.
Wow.
Which then we were like, hey, our ski trip's coming up. I'm like, I don't think I can ski because my knee hurts so bad. So my wife challenges me. She's like, okay, so we never ski again? I'm like, well, she's like, why don't you try snowboarding? I'm like, why don't I try snowboarding? So the first time I was on my face and my back of my head, like the entire trip. I'm like, y'all just go on, I'll figure this out. I should have hired a coach. I didn't. I was like, I'll just figure it out. So now it's 4 years later, and I can actually snowboard. And my kids say, hey, you look pretty good going down the hill. But in my head, what I'm saying is, turn, don't die, don't die, breathe, turn, don't die. I'm like just a wreck trying to make it down the mountain, like following them, but it is fun. But I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be on my skis. So they're like, Dad, come through the trees with me. I'm like, that is definite like death sentence. I'm never gonna make it through there. Did you ski here in like North Carolina, or did you go out? No, you were in Utah, you said. So you got really cool mountains.
So I think I ruined it for me. Like, I don't think I can go anywhere around here. I'll just be like, this is not it.
No, and then the people who are skiing are us Georgians. Who ski maybe once every 4 years. And so it's a train wreck meeting a train wreck. And you're definitely gonna hit somebody, or somebody's gonna hit you because you just don't know what they're doing. So skiing's pretty fun. Do you ever get out and get to do like water, wakeboarding or water skiing or any of that type of skiing?
No, I haven't done that yet. No.
That's fun. That's unfortunately you have to go kind of fast to make it work. So when you fall, it's not always. Usually it's not bad, but you can land in weird ways.
I think I did kneeboarding one time when I was like younger. I don't remember.
Nobody really does that anymore. That's we used kneeboarding or hydrosliding. That was a big thing, and now people are into like you ski on the wake or you wakeboard or whatever. I'm like, how did that even work? But it does look pretty fun. I'm not that balanced. That's I could probably get some of that. Okay, so we're gonna go into some fun stories about you. I guess the first thing, let's do this. So you started CrossFit a few years ago. How did you find us originally, a long time ago?
So it was 2016, like November when I started. I'd always like driven past the gym.
Okay. Did you ever see that billboard we had that was right out there?
I think maybe that's what it was.
You saw it?
Yeah.
And then you'd be like the third person. So we spent like $1,000 a month on a billboard that nobody saw. And now, 10 years later, I'm finding out, people did see it.
I think, that's probably what it was. And I think CrossFit was like getting really popular at that time.
Yes.
And also like I was getting bored with my regular fitness regime, which was just like lifting weights and running on the treadmill.
Right.
And I was like, I felt like I was gaining weight unintentionally. So I was like, I need to like switch it up somehow.
Yeah.
So I just came in on a whim because I think there was like a Groupon at the time.
Yes, and so we did, Groupon, we ran a lot of those.
Yeah.
We would put 100 people through the gym, and like maybe one would stay. So it was a weird mixture of wrecking our gym, but allowing people to get in here. So it was, as several of my coaches have said, like Coach Laura came in on that. And she's like, I'm still here. I'm like, but it was like 1,000 people to get to you and to Amanda. So you make it in here.
Yeah.
And how did we start you up back then? What was the intro process? Was it just jump into class?
Yeah, I think I jumped into class, and the first day it was like thrusters. And like I had never done thrusters before, and also my shoulders have always been so weak.
Okay.
So it was a struggle, but I was like, you know what? This was a great workout. Mm-hmm. So I just kept coming back, and eventually my body adjusted. Yeah. And I was able to push in the workouts. And I stayed, and at the time I was in college, so I got, the college membership price and everything. Yeah. So it was working out, and then unfortunately, like 3 months later, I think. So I started in November, and then February, I was doing intramurals, and I hurt my knee.
Oh,
So I stopped coming in, and then...
What happened to your knee? Do you know?
Yeah, so I was walking around on it for like 2 months, and then it like wasn't feeling any better, and turns out I tore my ACL and my meniscus, so...
You and me.
I had to get surgery and do the works, and then didn't come back to CrossFit till maybe like 2018 when I was cleared, but I think it was too soon at the time still, because I was still like pretty unbalanced. I still had swelling in my knee, like from squats, running, everything. Right. So when I came back in 2018, I didn't stay for very long. I think I did like 2 months in the summer, and I was just like, this isn't good.
So there's a thing that we do. So we also do.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird. We also do a lot of rehab with people. Yeah. So you and me have the same knee issue. Well, I didn't tear my ACL, but meniscus is still kind of messed up. Mm-hmm. So there are things that I'll avoid. Like I don't do box jumps because the next day I'm like, wow, my leg feels weird. I don't, right? And then if there's like double unders, if it's the open, so the CrossFit Open, I'll do the double unders, but otherwise I'm like, I'll just not do it. Yeah. So it's that like little pounding bit. And so like Jeff right now, he's got a bit of a shoulder thing that he did. I think he did something at work or helping his kid move or something. And so you can lift, or you can still stay functional and move with injury. You just have to be smart about what that injury is and how to move around it. You don't want to aggravate it. You don't want to have pain with it. But the thing that I found with a lot of people, so you'd be the exception, and this is awesome. Most people, when they hurt themselves doing, I don't know, like, hey, like me, I had enough fitness, I was doing a mountain bike race, and then I hurt my knee racing. You know what? I'm just not going to do anything for a while and see if my knee will come back or whatever it is, right? And then it ends up being like 5 years. And you're like, I haven't done anything in 5 years. Dang it, where did the time go, right? Yeah. And so you forget, or you let it like, oh, it's always my foot, or it's always my shoulder, or whatever. So better is to understand the issue, talk to your coach, and then say, hey, what can I do to continue to move, but move around it? And they'll give you lots of options and things like that. Yeah. So 2016, 2018, and then you come back again for the summer. You're like, okay, let's give this thing another go. How's it gone so far?
Well, I was only there for 2 months in 2018. Like, I had to stop because my knee was like, it wasn't ready yet. So, I think that I went back to just like lifting and stuff.
Which is a great thing to do. Do something, right? And you can always I put my foot through a hole running a race and broke my ankle. Yeah. And I spent 3 months basically doing bench press, right? Just doing seated everything. Yeah. And here I am still 15 years later and doing totally fine, right? Yeah. You move past those things,
Yeah, but eventually you get to a point where it's like, man, I really need to do some cardio. So I couldn't like run anymore, so I got into cycling. Okay. So I got a road bike.
Nice.
And so 2019, I pretty much spent that whole year cycling. And that actually helped my knee a lot because I had a lot of scar tissue build up, and
help break
just
that
the
up.
Constant rotation helped break it up, and help me with the flexion and extension and everything. And that's really what I needed, because it really wasn't very flexible at all, which was a big issue. And then
So we do something very similar. We have people like, again, going with the knee.
Yeah.
We literally, what was her name? I want to say it was Tiffany, but it probably wasn't. We used to have a video of her just talking about this, but the doctor said, your knee has a, insert fancy term, I wouldn't use your knee anymore. She's like, well, wait, what are my other options? He said, well, you could go and get it and strengthen it, but nobody ever chooses that. She's like, I choose strengthen. So she came to the gym and we worked through a lot of range of motion to help take away some of that scar material and stuff to get her mobile again, rather than saying, the easy route is to never use it. Hey, it's gonna be a really bad life in your 90s.
Yeah.
But, right? And the hard road sometimes is a better road.
Yeah.
Speaking of road, so where did you road bike? Did you bike, did you go out to the mountains to bike, or did you just go local? Or?
Oh, no. I was biking in Milton.
Okay.
Yeah, so I moved
I think they have, do they have bike lanes?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do. Not everywhere, but
No.
yeah.
With texting, I don't know if I could road bike, right? People are in their car doing stupid stuff. You're like, pay attention, I am here.
I went with a group usually, so yeah. I don't ever really ride alone. It's
That's pretty smart.
Too dangerous, and I'm finding out a lot of people just hate cyclists for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
they get road rage. You're like, why be mad? Look, people are trying to be healthy and fit. Just slow down, relax. So I live way over here on the kind of the back roads of Woodstock-ish. It's the like Tripp and Hendon and all that. And people bike out there a lot because it looks like it's the mountains.
Yeah.
And there's like the white line, and then there's like this tiny 2 inches of pavement.
Yeah.
So they're like biking in the white line and there's 2 inches of pavement. I'm like, do you guys have to understand this is still the city and people are idiots and they're looking at their cell phones and you got like 4 inches that you're biking on. It scares me to see people out there and just, all the high schoolers driving and not knowing, like, oh, I'll just go around you on a blind curve. You're like, what are you doing? This is not when you go around somebody. Just be patient and wait. So you still road biking now?
I usually take a break in the summer because it's too hot and I will pass out, so.
Yeah, how do you like so we just installed this big fan in the gym.
Yeah.
For the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be here for longer, but how do you like the fan? Is it helping out a little bit?
Yeah, it was needed.
Yeah, so it gets, it's interesting. You get to work out, it's a garage. Hey, so people, if you're listening, you're like, oh, I like CrossFit Garage, it sounds interesting. Realize, Amanda and I are sitting here in the air conditioning portion of our business unit, our suite. The gym portion is just a box. It's a garage. You lift up the doors, right? The interesting thing there is you train better in the elements because it's an extra adversity on you. So we've had people, like girlfriends that are like ones at say Lifetime on the treadmill and the others in here doing our work. And then they'll do the Woodstock 5K. And our girl crushes because, the Woodstock 5K is 4th of July. It couldn't be any hotter, right?
Yeah.
And the other one's used to running in the 60 degree or whatever it is temperature.
Yeah.
So getting your body acclimated to the actual temperature and the things you do outside is pretty cool. It's kind of like skiing in Utah, right? That elevation hurts unless you're used to it.
Yeah.
So we went to Breckenridge, and apparently that's a lot higher than other slopes. In Colorado, and man, I was dying. We were there for 5 days. 4 of the days, massive headache almost all the time. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Not really thinking that it was like an extra 1,000 feet up than our normal slope. Yeah, that was a tough one. So any advice to people who are out there road biking? What would you give them? Like, go to Milton because it's a little safer, or bike in groups, or?
Yeah, I ride with the Old Blind Dog group in Milton. So they meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And they go year round. So if you are adventurous and want to ride at night, that's the group for you.
Okay. But bike lights and vests and all that.
Yeah, but they're a fun group, and they have a really nice beginner group.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah, so it's called the Super Social group.
I love that.
So, but they go all the way up to the elite people that just want to be aero the whole time. So I think the average speed ranges from, I want to say 12, 13 miles per hour to 20 plus. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's
usually only 5 or so guys in that group.
You crush that?
No.
Yeah. Oh, in the end, the Super Social?
And the Super Social there's a ton of people.
Okay, ton of people, okay.
The 20 plus is 5 guys.
Yeah.
And they're all hardcore. So.
Yeah. So in this, I do this adventure racing, which is, think of a triathlete except for rednecks. So basically they give you a topo map, and a compass, and then you either run, bike, or canoe to different checkpoints in the woods. So it's kind of like an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
But part of it is mountain biking, and some of the mountain biking we do at night. So think about biking down a trail at night, and you've got like a headlamp or a bike lamp. Now the problem is, you can get moving so fast that the light doesn't shine far enough out.
Yeah.
And so they call it like overriding your light. So you're going too fast for the light. And so you're like, I don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
Man, that is some scary stuff right
Yeah,
there. So
sounds
usually
dangerous.
I think, so I'm never first when we do that. I'm like, someone else can go first. You want to be dangerous? Because I'm going to go slow. I don't want to die.
Yeah.
But it's fun and exhilarating, but the consequences for failure are quite catastrophic.
Yeah.
So go slow. But it is it's interesting. So at night, everyone's got like a bike lamp, and then do they do headlamps as well, or is it just bike
some
lamps?
people do, but the bike lamp's usually sufficient enough.
Yeah. So before they were doing LED lamps, you would get like halogen lamps. So you could buy this like headlamp or bike lamp, but it was halogen based, and which means it was like crazy hot. So you turn it off and then accidentally touch it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would sizzle. So LED lamps, I mean, they're still hot, but not near they were.
And they're pretty like tiny, but they're like really powerful.
Yeah, they can compact them. So we would get that's the other thing. So you'd want your lamp to last all the way through the night. And when you're in the woods, it gets darker faster because you're in the woods. So the sun's not doing its thing because there's all the shading, right? So you'd have to turn your light on sooner. So I'd have this like, think of like, so I got this iPhone right here. If you stacked up, I don't know, maybe like 5 iPhones, that would be one battery pack. And you'd have to have 2 of those to make sure you could get through the entire night. So now you're carrying around these extra like 5 pounds of weight just to see. You're like, it kind of it is, I guess, in retrospect, maybe stupid, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. So you find these things. So I think the thing that's interesting in this is you found something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
That is also fitness. And my kids are into this thing right now. We're trying to teach them how to, we talk about building a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. In the financing side of it is find hobbies that you pay one time, and then you can do, like you bought a bike.
Yeah.
And now I can meet up, right? And I can just do this with these people. It's not like, I don't know, I'm going rafting. And I got to buy it, pay for a guide and pay for whatever, right? And that's the fun thing we do. Or, we go to do something super expensive like, going out drinking. I don't know, whatever, right? So find something that people do that you enjoy that's not only, it covers many things. It's entertainment, it's fitness, it fits in my budget, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a smart call. Now, does your brother go biking with you?
He does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's already doing that. So so it's not a far cry to get him in here.
No. Yeah.
So what's his first name?
Josh.
Josh, so if you're listening, come into the gym. I will give you and Amanda and any of your friends your own personal class, so you guys can come in. We will do things that Amanda likes, so she can crush you guys, but it'll still be a lot of fun. Come try it out. You'll enjoy this stuff. Okay, so any other cool hobbies that you're doing outside of here? Road biking included? Any other?
So I did start basketball again, recreationally.
Yeah.
And it's been going well so far. I haven't had any knee issues. So.
Is it through the Cherokee basketball, or is it just go to the court and play?
Atlanta Sports and Social Club. Yeah.
So again, mixing social, athletics, fun. I love this. This is like, if you can come, if at 50, the advice I'd give to all you young people is find those things that intersect. What do they call them? The Venn diagram. You get those circles, and wherever they overlap, that's that key thing. So I want to do something for my health and fitness. I want to meet people, and I want it to fit inside my budget. Okay, basketball sounds great, right?
Yeah.
Or doing CrossFit sounds great, or biking, right? So if you find these things that kind of intersect, you also meet people that are a lot like you.
Yeah.
And so you end up not only, getting these benefits, but the community that comes out of it can be tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So my daughter, when she came back from college, she's like, I want to go line dancing.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. So we found a place to line dance.
Yeah.
And I'm probably the oldest one there. But so that would be the next thing is, my advice to all you older people is if your daughter ever says, Dad, let's go do something, you say yes. Because it's not long that your kids stop wanting to do stuff with you.
Yeah.
So say yes and go, even if it's outside the budget. Make memories with your family.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through some fun questions. So what was the first job you ever had?
I worked at McDonald's.
Okay. Were you in the back or the front or?
I was the drive-through.
Ooh. Customer service.
I actually worked at the one right there at the outlets when they first built it. I started there.
Yeah. And what is the lesson you learned from that?
I think I just learned how to talk to people.
Yeah.
So it was actually really fun working the drive-through.
Yeah.
People are so chatty when they're just sitting in line waiting for their food.
I would be compelled to tell a lot of bad dad jokes. So I probably shouldn't do that. Now, there is something to that. So they say it's crazy, but if they were to rank, like, they rank out like the most fearful things that people have. Number one, you think was the fear of death, but it's not. It's the fear of public speaking, which is insane. And so you do a job like, hey, I'm on the phone, I'm on the microphone, I don't know, whatever, talking to people, but your job is basically public speaking all day long. And so do you feel like you actually gained the ability to talk to people
I did, yeah. And it was really helpful because we always had to do icebreakers and stuff when I was in college. I hated those, but I was pretty comfortable after a while. But like when I stopped working there, I kind of like felt like I lost it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's reps, right?
Yeah.
So if you get in the reps, you get better at it. If you walk away, you lose some, but you do have that muscle memory or that instinct. You can do it, right? So that is very true. So I tell my kids all the time, they're like, it's funny how much the cell phone shouldn't be called a cell phone, it should be called a device because who calls anybody on it, right? Yeah. So one of them had to get their oil changed in the car. And they're like, what do I do? I'm like, okay, weirdly, call them. They want your money, right? They will walk you through this. They want you to come in here and they want you to spend more money than you should to get your oil changed. They're like, okay, let's do this. I'm like, it's not that hard. So I tell them all the time, like, Levi would like to get a waiter job. I'm like, perfect. It'll teach you to like communicate, to understand, to look ahead, right? I think that thing I learned, I was a bag boy, is, man, I do not want to do this the rest of my life. I better get my college degree and do something else. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I wanted to spend a lot more money. So mine was really, I realized that when I went to get lunch on my lunch break there, I just go to I'm in Publix, or actually it was Big Star, but I would go and get food and then go through the line. I'm like, I just spent like an hour or two of my work money right here getting food. That's stupid, right? And back then, I think the minimum wage was like $3.75 or something crazy small. Of course, things didn't cost as much, but still, I was a teenage boy, so I ate a lot of food. And so I realized that the hourly wage and my hourly consumption, I needed to dramatically change that. And what paid the most money? Engineering, because nobody likes to do that. It's too hard. Okay, great. I will stick with the STEM stuff. So it taught me do something else quickly. So what is something that your parents or your grandparents taught you that you find super valuable now?
That's a good question. Well, my parents always like pushed education on me. So I guess in my field, we have to do like the CPA exam. Okay. So I'm kind of working on that right now. But you kind of have to like be good at studying and like learning new things. So that's kind of something that I've like been doing since I was a kid. So people always say, oh, it's like if you're out of school and you like wait a few years to study again, it's really hard to get back into it. But I find that like studying for like basically my whole life, it's still easy to like get back into routine of studying and stuff and like learning. So
did you build up routines for yourself as a kid? Tell me about those.
So I realized that this is so like nerdy, but
I love it. Hey, you're speaking to the king of the geeks. I went to Georgia Tech as an electrical engineer, so it doesn't get more nerdy or geeky than me.
Yeah, I realized that like I didn't always jive with how teachers taught, so I would just read the textbook, and pretty much everything I needed to learn was in there. So that was kind of like my cheat sheet, and I didn't ever really listen in class, and I just read the textbook and took the exams, and that was it.
So what you're saying right there is super valuable. Not everyone is going to listen and learn the same way that the mold they want to put us in. Weirdly, the teacher is teaching from the textbook. If you read the textbook, weirdly, you're going to get the same material, and it might make more sense because the person who wrote it wants you to read it. So Levi, my middle-ish son, has done the best at what you're talking about. He realized for some of his AP classes, like the teacher's off topic.
Yeah.
And there's a, I forgot what it's called. It's not Khan Academy, but it's something like that. So it's an online teaching thing. But this one guy did like, it's either AP US History or AP Government or something. But he has got his lecture notes and it's AP, so it's standardized. Like everyone's supposed to be teaching this, but apparently his teacher was off topic, or maybe much like college, they're like, I'm just going to say something, but you better read the book because my stuff doesn't matter, or something, right? So he wouldn't even really pay attention in class. He would take the notes out of the book, reorganize them, and then at home he would go and watch this Khan Academy guy to get him through, and then he ends up scoring a 5 on the test. And he's like, Dad, I didn't even pay attention to the teacher. I'm like, what am I paying for? But the lesson that you and he came up with is more important than, did you get a 5 on the AP exam? That doesn't really matter. What really matters is, do you know how to learn new material and absorb it and make it your own? So when you're faced with a problem at work, you're like, yeah, I can go research that and figure it out. I know how to, find the answers. So they used to tell us, you probably maybe have never heard this, but they're like, you must memorize your like multiplication tables because you won't always have a calculator with you. And we always have a calculator with us now. I'm like, you guys were wrong, and I'm glad I memorized that stuff. But like, the information that is available at your fingertips is almost more important than having to memorize everything. That's very cool. So I think many kids, unfortunately, especially when they get into that high school range, the social aspect becomes more important than the learning aspect, and it can like it can derail like their journey. So my daughter is very STEM, like science, technology, engineering, math right now, but she's about to be a freshman. And many of her friends are like, why are you doing those hard classes? You should do these other easier classes with us because then we have more time to do other stuff. I'm like, Evie, it's just a season of life. It's only 4 years. If you derail yourself here, it changes the course of the rest of your life. She's like, but I don't want to be a nerd. I'm like, you're not a nerd. You're just a really smart girl. It's okay. And it's weird, the number of girls that they don't push towards STEM. And I don't know if it's we don't push or it's just, I don't know. But yeah, she does really well with it. I hope she stays with it. At least I'll aim her towards that. I may have her come talk to you. Like, hey, read your textbook and study. You originally you said you found CrossFit. You were like, I'm looking for something because I'm bored. What was it? What is it in CrossFit that you find enjoyable?
Just that it's different every day, and I don't also have to think about what I'm going to do for my workout. I can just come in and do whatever's there.
So that's interesting because people don't understand that. So how does that work out? So tell me what it looks like when you walk into the gym. You're getting in a car, you're driving in. What's happening?
Well, normally I look at the workout beforehand. And I'm like, okay, just mentally prepare to do squats or burpees, whatever, and then just come in and do it. And so you've seen it. So you're like, okay, if I need, sometimes like we'll lift stones. So you may need like a long sleeve shirt so you don't hurt your arms. So it is appropriate to look ahead. So we have an app. Do you look on the app or do you look on our website? I look on the app.
So it looks much easier. Our website, it like pushes it together with no spaces or periods or paragraphs. I'm like, that looks whatever. It's still posting. So so you look at the app. So we use Wodify. It's just a tool, software tool. So you can go in there. We keep track of everything so that you can compare yourself to last year and make sure you're doing better. So you walk in the door. What's the normal start of class? So what happens normally when class starts?
Just get a warm up going. Usually some stretching, some sort of.
So do you do it by yourself or does the coach take you and the class through it?
The coach takes us through.
So you don't even have to worry about the warm up.
No.
You literally can just walk in. And the coach is going to say something like, "All right, 7:30 a.m. class, come over here," right? And so there's some sort of warm up. Then they may bring you to the board and they'll talk about the workout. And so you can ask any questions you want. And do you laugh at sometimes when people ask the questions? You're like, that's so obvious. What are we talking about? No? I do. And sometimes I ask the stupid question just because I know somebody's thinking it. And I'm like, hey, so how does that work? And they look at me like, you know how this works. I'm like, I know, but somebody's probably thinking it. Okay, so you warm up. We call it the whiteboard brief. The coach is walking you through everything. Are you allowed to talk to people and laugh and have fun? Okay. Some people are like, so if you go to, let's say, Lifetime, and you walked in and did what we do, it would be weird. Like if you and I started talking, they'd be like, why are they talking to each other? They should stop talking to each other. Do your pumps and your curls. And look in the mirror. Don't talk to each other. So it's very different. There's a lot of social going on while we do our health and fitness, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then they talk about the workout. How does what's the the workout's about to start when the coach yells what?
Like you need the countdown.
Yeah, that's right. So they always yell 3, 2, 1, go. That's like a signature for CrossFit.
Yeah.
Sometimes that means go hard and fast. Sometimes that means we're just going to go jog at 800 meters. So it's not going to be fast at all.
Yeah.
And then does everybody usually finish roughly about the same time?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
So, and then we do some stretchy, some cool down or whatever. So we always advise people to stretch and roll out, but not everybody does.
Right, yeah.
I guess that's okay if that's your life. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But you've spent all this time getting warm, you might as well stretch yourself out.
Yeah.
So have you seen, so it's been, let's see, you're back into almost the end of your second month. Have you seen any changes or anything like in your daily life? It's a little bit easier to do the things that I do, or if I go biking or any of that stuff. Have you found any changes that have been interesting for you?
Yeah, cardio has gone like way up.
Okay, fast, that's good.
Yeah, like within the first 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, because I remember I had a basketball game the second week, and I played pretty much the whole game, and I didn't have any issues.
Right.
So, normally I'm like breathing hard, running up and down the court, but
right.
I was able to survive. So.
Oh, that's awesome. So,
well, not survive, but I thrive.
Play into it.
So, yeah.
So they say if you look at that CrossFit pyramid we have out there, the bottom layer is nutrition, and then it's gymnastics, then it's like conditioning, cardio, and then it's gymnastics, and then weightlifting, or maybe vice versa, and then the top bit is play new sports. So you get to see the application of your health and fitness and playing a sport, and you can really see a difference because you're competing. Yeah. Right. It is. I would say for me, similarly, it is very fun when people are like, hey, do you want to, like a buddy of mine who does a lot of long distance hiking, he's like, hey, do you want to hike Blood Mountain tomorrow? I'm like, sure. So I just grab a bottle of water, get in the car, and I go get him, and we go up there. And he's like, you don't have any issue with this? I'm like, no. I mean, I do CrossFit all the time. So climbing an hour and a half up a mountain, I mean, it's different. Yeah. But no problem. Yeah. And so it's fun to be able to show off some of the stuff in just the normal weird ways. And as you can imagine, most of my 50-year-old peers are not physically fit. Yeah. So it's maybe a little bit easier to show that off. But not in a bad way, but like, hey, do something. You can change your life too. It doesn't take that hard. Maybe not 2 weeks. That's incredible. Yeah. But it takes some time. Yeah. That's pretty awesome. So has there been in this, like the 2016, 18, or 2023, has there been any interesting highs that you found? Like, oh, this is kind of neat. I didn't expect that. So we do high-low buffalo. So any high-low or buffalo, like buffalo is the surprising part. Like, oh, I climbed the rope. I didn't expect that.
Oh, yeah, I can do a pull-up now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And so how did that come about?
I was just like hanging on bars for a while, and then one day I was like, I think I can do it. So I can do them.
And so this is an interesting aspect, is what we're trying to do is it's called so general physical preparedness or motor recruitment. We're just trying to get back to things that you would typically do. And so we may not do a pull-up all the time. Yeah. But the things we do are pulling and pushing. And that's what we do in life. We stand up, we sit down, we push, we pull, whatever. Yeah. And so it's transferable across skill sets. So then you're like, oh, I'm on this pull-up bar. I feel kind of strong. Let me just see what happens. Yeah. And there we are. Now you can up that. So I'm doing goal reviews with people. So when you get to the close to the 1 year mark, I'll start going, hey, tell me your goals. Give me 3 fitness and 1 non-fitness type of goal, and we'll just list them out and come up with some brainstorm ideas. Okay. And so several people have said, I want to be able to do 5 pull-ups in a row. I'm like, okay, what do you do right now for any specific training? And they're like, well, nothing. I'm like, okay, that's okay. We'll get you there eventually. Yeah. But if that's a specific goal, and so one of the guys, I said, I already know you can do strict pull-ups, so let's do 5 strict pull-ups after every workout. So now he's tired, and he's got to do 5 strict, beautiful, like all the way down, all the way up, no kipping, no pushing, no feet, right? And so just adding that in there, that consistency will train that movement pattern. So he wants strict, somebody else wants kipping, and kipping is more gymnastics. That takes a lot more training. That's a little bit harder to do. But, well, it's easier to do in the long run, but it's harder to do
initially.
Yeah, because it's like, patting your head and rubbing your stomach, right? It's just a weird combination of movements. Very cool. That's good. I like that. So you saw we had that billboard out there for a long time. If you rented that billboard and you could put a message to the world, it doesn't have to be health and fitness. It could be anything, any motto that you live by.
Yeah.
What would you want people to see and read and be like, oh, I should be thinking about that?
Be nice to everyone.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
You're like, out of like the 12 people we've done, I think 10 of them have said something very similar to be nice, be kind.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to be nice. Be kind. It doesn't cost you anything to be nice. Be kind, right? So how do you express that?
I just like try to be nice even if I'm not like having a good day or, just in a bad mood or whatever. Because I think that can translate to someone else, like how you're feeling. Or transfer, I guess.
Yeah.
So
your mood rubs off.
Yeah. So just try to be cognizant and patient with people.
Yeah. So you never know what day they're having. There was a story someone had, and I took it to heart. It was the you get cut off in traffic. And then you're like, you little, and you tell them they're number one, but not with the right. You don't. You're flipping them off.
Yeah.
And then it turns out they're like make a left-hand turn into the hospital. And you're like, oh man, I was just cursing out someone trying to get to the hospital.
Right.
So you never know what's going on. And granted, it may be a teenager on his phone and he's just cutting you off, but it may not be.
Yeah.
So, right? So it's interesting. So we probably, maybe 5 years ago, when I started with a business mentor, because I'm an engineer from Georgia Tech. What do I know about running a business? Absolutely nothing. I have multiple businesses. Some of them have failed. Some of them are still here. So I'm learning. But it would have been wise to have a business coach ahead of time. So if you want to shortcut anything, hire a mentor. If you want better accounting, hire a mentor. If you want to get better health and fitness, come here, hire a mentor, right? So I hired a business coach. And bye, Danny. They basically speed up that process, and so that you end up not doing the foolish things. Anyway, so he said, what is your ethos? What do you really care about? Who do you want in the gym? So if you walk down that hallway on the left, our motto is, we are happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now, as well as in our 90s. First word is happy. So it's like no mystery. We attract people who have the, glasses half full mentality, because we are already those people. So when you walk in, now if you're not that type of person, you probably wouldn't enjoy being here at this gym. If you're an Eeyore, you're not going to get those people. They're going to be like, smile, let's talk about solutions. And you're going to be like, I just want to be like, cry for a little bit. It's not like that. That's awesome. I wish, maybe we should hire that, since so many people said it. It's about, maybe 8 years ago, it was $1,000 a month for that billboard. And now I think it actually rotates. So it probably costs more to be on a rotating billboard, or maybe less. I don't know.
Maybe less, right? Because more people are filling up the space.
And you only get it a third of the time as it rotates through. So what books or podcasts do you either listen to or recommend out?
There's a book I read recently. It's called Never Get Angry Again.
Ooh, I like that.
I forget who the author is
I will
now,
look it up and put it in the show notes.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Teaches you about why you get angry. And I guess helps you figure out how to manage your anger if you have anger issues. I think everyone has anger issues to an extent.
Yes.
I'm not like, I've never been one to rage and like break stuff, but I think for me, like, it just builds up and then I snap.
Yeah.
So
how to release it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So there's nothing more to test your patience than a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I became more angry, and I'm like, why am I so angry? And I wish I could go back and talk to myself, but good people don't like it when you do bad things because you're a good person. So I'm a good person, and I don't like that I spanked so fast. And I've told my kids, look, I'm sorry. Maybe don't spank your kids. You probably will, but I mean, I'm not saying don't spank them.
Yeah.
But Evan, Evan, he got spanked a lot. And I should have read books or asked somebody rather than rely on, what did my dad do? Well, he just spanked.
Yeah.
And so what do I do? I'm like, just mad because you didn't obey?
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes down to one of my favorite quotes is, the biggest failure in communication is to think you have communicated, but had failed to.
Right.
And you say it, you're like, you say the words, but they hear something totally different.
Right.
And you're like, how did you get that from what I said?
Yeah.
And it happens in your family, the people that are closest to you, that live the closest life.
Yeah.
So they should know your stupid jokes and your sayings. And yet we still get it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just take a deep breath. Don't be angry, be kind.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say to, there's somebody just like you out there listening to this podcast here in Woodstock, or maybe not weirdly, thank you, Australia. There are people from Australia that are listening to us.
Awesome.
And so I think some of the reason is it's health and fitness. This goes across borders. I mean, everybody wants to be health and fit, right? And if you can laugh a little bit, hopefully we bring a little humor as well. But there is somebody just like you who is like struggling to make a commitment to themselves. What would you advise them? What would you say to them about, let's go very specific. Let's say they live within, 10 minutes of CrossFit Garage. So we are located really close to First Baptist Woodstock. So they live really close to that. That's a big landmark, I guess.
Yeah.
What would you say? They're like, I'm nervous to come in to try CrossFit. What would you tell them?
Just come in. I think your nerves will shake out once you start moving. So,
right. How about this? When you came in maybe we didn't give you the full entire treatment because you've been here before. Did you talk to Coach Jamie coming in?
Yeah, I did.
So is Coach Jamie easy to talk to?
Yes, she is.
And does she want you to be here?
She does. Very much.
Right. So there's a good conversation going to happen with somebody who really wants to help you out. And weirdly, she does filter people that aren't a good fit. So she will tell you honestly, like we've had people say, hey, I'm going to the CrossFit Games. I'm like, okay, we're not your gym, right? Or I want you to take tons of pictures of me. I'm like, well, that's not really humble. I don't know. We may not be a good fit. Or people have said, I just want to come in and have my own area to do my own thing. I'm like, yeah, so our big thing is coaching, mentoring, and accountability. So if you're not here to be coached, you probably don't want to be here. So she does aim people away. So rest assured, Woodstock, if you come here and you're not a good fit, we're going to let you know because we don't want you to be unhappy. And we will direct you to a fit. I know so many gyms around us. We can help you find a gym that'll make a good fit. Okay, so they meet Jamie. She's an easy conversation. Did you start back right into class, which you probably did, or did you do the 5 one-on-one sessions?
I started right back into class.
Okay, so because you've done this before.
Yeah.
So typically we start everybody now, instead of saying like, just jump into class, I hope it works. Our business coach said, hey, that's the worst way to do it. It's the least maximal. What we have found that works through data, through all the gyms that we help, is have them do an on-ramp or a foundations class. So basically you work one-on-one with a coach for 30 minutes, 5 times, and it helps acclimate you as well as us to what's going on with your body.
Yeah.
And then you can either move into class or you can stay one-on-one.
Okay.
And do the people in here, are there some people that move better than you?
Yes.
Are there some people that move worse than you?
Yeah.
And does anybody judge anybody about that?
No.
No. So it is always like, hey, well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a fist bumps. If you're in my class, I do videos, and I'll do like a 3-second video of you doing some movements and then send it to you later on. Post it if you want or don't. Do whatever you want with it. Some people just show their spouse, look what I did today. You think I do nothing at CrossFit. Look at this, right?
Yeah.
So that's really good advice. Tell me your brother's name again.
Josh.
Josh. There's also an invitation. There's come in here with us. We have Bring a Friend Week coming up in October. So all of you guys, if you have a friend here at CrossFit Garage, we're going to do a week just for you guys where the workouts will be less complicated and we can coach you and you will know what you're doing. Now, I would recommend if, let's say the workout is a 20-minute workout, I would say go 1 minute on, 1 minute off or something like that because it'll sneak up on you.
Yeah.
And you're like, 20 minutes, that's not that bad. No, it is. And weirdly, the shorter the workout, the worse it is in terms of impact. So if it's like a 3-minute workout, you're like, I can totally do that. No, you're going to be hurting tomorrow. So always go a little bit easier. And we'll make sure that the workout is easy for them. Not easy, but doable, right? So we're not going to say, hey, it's snatches and rope climbs. I mean, 2 of the most complicated things. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense, right? And then for all you alumni, so people who used to be here that have taken some time off or maybe moving back into town, we're going to do a week just for you guys in November. So it'll be our normal class structure and you guys can come in and jump right into class. So you guys, if you've been doing CrossFit for 3 months or longer with us, then you've gone through all the movement patterns and you should be good to go. So we want to say thank you for past business. This also is hopefully help you come back to the gym, right? Okay, cool. Any other parting words?
That's all I have for today.
Yeah, no, that's good. I love it. If you are a small business, also you can look up Amanda. She's in the gym with us. If you're looking for someone to do your accounting, her firm or the firm you work for, I like her firm. That sounds better. Her firm will support you, and she's here local, and will help you get your taxes and CPA and accounting and stuff all in order. Yeah? All right, cool. Thank you very much. It's been fun having you on. Guys, if you're out there and you need help, you can always find us on our website, CrossFitGarage.com. Or you can email me directly for help, Andy@CrossFitGarage.com. I know, that's such a weird email address. So, all right, guys, you take care. Bye-bye.